All right, in this lesson we're going to look at text in After Effects. So let's create a new composition. I want the background to be white. Okay, and let's go ahead and select our text tool, horizontal type tool, and go ahead and I'm going to type in experiment. I'm going to hit the return key, and I'm going to type 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to select my selection tool to move it into place. For this workspace, I'm in the text workspace. That way I can preview it, can work on the character or the paragraphs or the effects and presets. And here I'm gonna select all of the text because I want to change all of the text, and I'm going to play around with the maybe a different font. I guess maybe I'll just kind of pick one here. Impact, okay, it looks okay. Let's change that color. The pink is a little crazy. Let's do maybe a little more red. Okay, and we can play around with the size of the font and the leading. This is the size of the text in between the two lines. We got tracking, and that's the space between all of the characters. Over here we have kerning, and that's if you just want to do in between, like one of the characters. So if you want one of those characters to be a little bit tighter. We also got vertical scaling and horizontal over here scaling. So if we want to squeeze the type, it squeezes it horizontally. That's pulls it out or squeezes it down vertically. Make it a little bit bigger. A little more space in between letters. Maybe not too much. We'll squeeze that a little bit more. Something like that. It looks okay. Just playing around right now. And right in here is an option where you can change the size of the stroke. Okay, that looks good. Okay, now let's try giving it some custom animation. So we'll add some animators. I'm going to drag that corner. I'm going to drag this, make it a little bit bigger. So now I'm not going to select all of my type. Let me click off here. I'm going to click on the text. Click my text tool. I'm just going to select just this top part because I'm just going to add animators just to that section right there, that experiment. And if you twirl down, you'll see down here in the text where it says animate. I'm going to select the animate. And let's go ahead and animate we'll try animating how about the skew. And I'm just going to go ahead and add a keyframe. I'm going to drag the number on the skew back a little bit. Let's move our time indicator to about 1 second, and then we'll kind of have it go forward to about 30. So therefore it starts back a little bit and kind of just moves forward. Okay, and let's try to add another animator. And we can do that either up here or, since it was already up here, you can also add it right here under the add and property. I'm going to add property. Let's try animating the scale. And I'm going to go in between there just to show you just kind of in a different spot to animate. So I'm going to give it a keyframe on the scale. And let's see, maybe we'll come down here and change the scale to where it's kind of smaller. And we'll move it over here past maybe a second and a half. And I'll have it get Now we'll get it to about normal. And then let's see, we'll give it a couple frames. We'll try to get it to pop. Make it real big. Just a couple frames. Give it a couple more frames and then kind of move it down. Yeah, about right there. So it kind of looks like that. There's a little pop there at the end. How about at the end? Let's give it a rotation. We'll move it a few frames after the scaling. So let's add another property and rotation. And I just want it to flip around once. So I'm just gonna hit on that first one. I'm gonna hit the 1, so it says 1x. You can also change it down here on the second part. So let's give that a keyframe there. And I forgot to give it a keyframe before that. So let's do a 0. There it goes backwards. Let's see how that looks. Okay. Okay, so I added a few animators. Let's see. Oh, maybe one last one. Let's try to animate the color. So let's do a fill color. We'll do RGB. Maybe we'll do it at the beginning. Or how about when it pops? So we'll give it a hold frame. So give it a keyframe at the end after it pops, and then we'll give it a few frames until it reaches the flip, and then we'll change it to blue. Therefore, it's kind of purple. Here, we'll move that frame a little bit back. Have it start changing. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so there you can kind of see how you can give it some custom animation to your text. And that's it for this lesson.